Well, good morning, YouTube friends and family, and welcome to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So today we are going to be working on a brand new project, and that is starting a container herb garden. Now, I'm not going to actually be planting today. Today is the planning stage, and I wanted to share a few things with you about what I'm going to do that might give you some ideas. So if you don't have a large earth garden, or you live in an apartment, or you're limited on space outdoors, but yet you'd like to have some herbs to grow both for flavoring your food as well as any medicinal, cosmetic, or household purposes, this is the video for you. So let me start first by showing you what I'm going to be using as my raised bed or container gardening device. So this is actually called, and I'm probably saying this wrong, it's called a Vegepod, V-E-G-E-P-O-D. So you can see it has a large container here. It's about 1 foot deep. It measures 40 inches deep by 40 inches wide. You can either get a stand or what they call a trolley, and a trolley just has the wheels. It has a hood on top of it, so you can protect it from frost as we're still in early spring. And it also is self-watering. So if you see the tubes along here, you fill up a portion with water and it will actually water your plants. Now, I have not received this yet. Probably won't arrive until next week, but I just thought it would be really neat not to be utilizing my earth garden space for all of my herbs, because this year I want to add some herbs and I also want to remove some things from my garden space so that I will have more room to grow food. So how do you even start? How do you know what to plant? So herbs are fairly simple to grow. You don't have to go out and buy a complicated planning packet. What I actually did was I took 2 pieces of graph paper, you know, just the little squares. You can buy this at the dollar store. I drew out a 40 by 40 square. And from here, then I can decide how much room I want to allot to each of my plants. And then also, if something's going to grow taller, you know, perhaps I just want to make a tag for each herb that I'm going to grow. I have these cute little tags that I think also came from the dollar store. They're like sticky notes. But as you research the herbs you're gonna grow, then you can move them around actually on the paper instead of digging them up and moving them around in your raised garden bed. So that's how I'm going to do it. And I thought I would just share with you some of the herbs that I'm going to plant and why I'm going to plant them and how you might use them. So I think the easiest way to start an herb garden is to think about the types of food you like to eat and the flavorings you like in it. So if you're really big into Italian cooking, then you're going to want to grow those Italian herbs and spices. If you like basil, which I love to put on pizza, then maybe you want to try several different varieties of basil because it comes in actually different flavors, believe it or not. If you want to try your hand at infusing herbs into oils and then to turn those into ointments or tinctures for the medicinal properties, then perhaps you want to move more into things like lavender or lemon balm or mint. So I thought I would just review with you what I'm actually thinking of planting. You know, I always have like way more seeds than I have room for, but I also have some additional containers that I can put some of my items in if it gets, you know, overgrowing, and it sometimes does. So let me share with you, I actually pulled out the bigger creek whole seed catalog that is for 2021. So let me share with you a few things that I've ordered and then explain to you why I have ordered them. So the first thing is this beautiful purple plant here, and that is called borage. It is an annual, and the leaves and the flowers are actually edible, so you can put them in salads. You can float a little flower in your iced tea, and they have a very refreshing sort of a cucumbery taste. Another reason that you might want to plant this is because it entices pollinators, bees, into your garden space. So keep that in mind, and you may not want to put your raised garden right by your table where you grill out and eat if it attracts a lot of bees and wasps. It also reseeds very easily. So even though I may start this in the above ground, I may transfer some of it out around my garden to attract bees to my vegetables to help pollinate. You can make a tea out of it that is good for colds, according to the research I've done, and always do your own research. And you can also put it in a body lotion as a soothing ingredient. So I've not grown borage before, so that's going to be a new item for me. So the next is something I'm sure you've all seen, heard of, and that is calendula. So if you've watched any of my soap making videos, you've seen me use calendula in my gardener's hand soap and even my gardener's hand balm. So this is a very skin soothing plant, and some people call them pot marigolds. Calendula is actually a little different than our decorative marigolds. So I am going to be growing the strawberry calendula because I thought it was pretty and it's a little different. So I have grown calendula before. It is an annual, so you do have to collect those seeds and then replant it every year, but it's very easy to grow. It's also a good pollinator. My primary use for calendula has been for its skin benefit properties. So I put it in my gardener's hand soap because that soap is highly cleansing, but the calendula helps soothe the skin and won't allow the soap to overly dry your hands. So that's another item I'm going to be growing. I'm really curious how many of you have ever used this or heard of this. How many of you have ever heard of horehound? So this is a picture of it, but how you've probably seen it is this picture here of the horehound candy. So I grew up eating horehound candy. It's very soothing for sore throats, for coughs. You can make a cough syrup out of it. And that's the primary use for it. I think it has a very tasty taste. So I always enjoyed eating it as a candy, but I do like sugar. So that's going to be something new for me this year so that I can actually extract that. And then I will have some natural, if you will, medicines on hand for the fall and winter when it is cold and flu season, although I'm rarely sick with colds and flu. Instead, I get, oh my word, I get kidney stones. And just to give you all an update, Mr. Stone has not appeared. Today is Tuesday. I do have an appointment, virtual appointment at 1 o'clock today with the urologist. It's pretty clear this is day 9 that stone's going to have to be physically removed. It's not going to pass on its own. And oddly enough, the pain actually comes and goes. A stone generally will only hurt when it moves. I believe it's stuck. So as it's trying to push its way out, it can't get through because it's quite large. So enough about me. Let's go on here and talk about one of my other favorite foods, marshmallow. So I love how they did the picture. These are the flowers it makes, but they stuck some marshmallows in it. So actually, historically, marshmallow used to be made from the marshmallow plant. So it's a sticky, gummy substance that I believe comes from the root, actually. It's the original source of an Egyptian confection that evolved into today's marshmallows. The roots and velvety leaves have been eaten as a vegetable for centuries. So there are other benefits to marshmallow, and it is a perennial. So while I may start it in my raised garden, I may then move it to a place where it can continue to grow and come up each and every year. It's used in a lot of skin and hair products as a soothing agent, and the root is actually used boiling it, extracting the beneficial properties as a treatment for sore throats, as well as a salve for strains or sore muscles. So I thought this was a really great all-around herb to have in my chest of remedies that I might need. You know, if COVID didn't teach us anything else, it's that sometimes things go into short supply or are difficult to find. So the more medicine that you can learn that's in your backyard, and I'm going to share another book with you as well, the better. Okay, the very last thing, and this is highly controversial. I'm going to tell you guys this. See these beautiful purple poppies? So, as you all know, if you remember from The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy got sleepy in the field of poppies because poppies are the source of opium. Now, our decremental poppies are not opium rich. However, there is a quality of pain relief to poppy seeds, and you can make them into a tea in an emergency situation. I actually love purple flowers, so that's my primary reason, but I will be saving the seeds to then propagate them or share them with others, so it would be nice to have that on hand should there be some sort of an emergency where pain relief was needed and not available. So those are the new ones to me. And then I'm going to grow some things that I actually have seeds for. So a lot of herbs are annual and not perennial. So I have some lemon bee balm, and this is what is commonly called bergamot. So it has a very citrusy smell to it. I have used bergamot in several of my different soap preparations, and this I did not know. The leaves of lemon bee balm are the primary ingredient in Earl Grey tea. So if you are an Earl Grey tea lover, you might want to consider growing some lemon bee balm. It is a pollinator attractor for your garden, so it's good for your garden. It is a perennial, so this will come back each and every year. And this was actually, I think, a gift that I received from a friend. I honestly don't remember, but I'm very excited to give this a try. Now, I'm sure you've all seen the So Easy seeds that come from Ferry-Morse. These you can find at Walmart. I have quite a bit of true lavender, and I think everyone's fairly familiar with lavender. Lavender has a very calming effect. It's very soothing to the skin. I make a lavender and Epsom salt soak for the tub. So there's all kinds of uses for lavender. So I will be growing quite a bit of lavender, both in my raised bed and then probably as well in a flower bed. And then we come to all of the herbs that you're accustomed to seeing. So your basil, your sage, parsley, thyme, you know, and there's all kinds of varieties. My son also sent me some dill and some sage. And these are primarily thought of as being used to flavor our food, but they also have properties that are beneficial to our health. So did you know that dill is a good remedy if you're having indigestion or gas. So I did not know that. So you can make a little bit of tea out of the dill. So it's kind of like drinking pickle juice, but good remedy. Thyme makes a great steam for when you have a cough and a cold. You can put some thyme leaves into some hot water and let the steam, you know, billow up. So you're actually infusing that steam with the beneficial properties of thyme. Thyme is also good as a tea if you have diarrhea. Sage, and I'm sure you've all seen the leaf of sage. It's kind of furry or fuzzy. It's a thicker leaf, and it is a great remedy if you get a bee sting, a mosquito bite, just to wet the leaf and put it on. It's very soothing. I personally love sage. We eat a ton of sage here, so that was a must-have this year in the herb garden. And then, of course, basil. I just love basil to put on homemade pizza as flavorings and different things. So I think my herb garden this year is going to be a mix of beneficial for health as well as to flavor food. So I'm going to spend some time putting all my things, planning on my little sheet of paper so that when my raised bed arrives, I'll have the plan, and then I will do a video sharing with you, probably not the unboxing. I didn't do so well on the unboxing, but, you know, just sharing with you my impression of the veggie pod and how easy or hard it was to put together. It looks very, very simple, and the reviews are quite good. So, I mean, I'm excited for that. I will leave a link in the description box below to my Amazon affiliate store, and you can go out and peruse it. It does come in 3 sizes. Comes in small, medium, and large. I ordered a medium, which is the 40-inch by 40-inch. All right, I want to share another thing with you. So let me pause you for just a moment because I'm going to flip the camera around and I want to share with you where I am with my seedlings that we planted just last week. So stay tuned. So here is the progress I've made on the tomatoes. They're quite tiny. The cherry tomatoes, I have a couple of those tiny little seedlings right here. My pie pumpkins are just going gangbusters. Butternut squash is from here back, and here forward is Indiana melon. So I did get some Indiana melon as well. So let me swing you around, hopefully not make you dizzy, and share with you, if you remember when we planted in the AeroGarden, you can see how the little caps make like a greenhouse effect. So let me pull one off. So I actually have cherry tomatoes starting, and it's time for these little caps to come off because the tomatoes are nearing the top and we don't want them to not grow. So yes, highly successful. So thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you found this video by searching perhaps for herb gardens and you're not yet subscribed, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, you know, the one down there, and then ring the bell and select all to be notified of new videos. So as always, be healthy, be well, be blessed. I hope to see you all later this week. I'll keep you updated in the community tab if Mr. Stone and I have an appointment at the hospital. So you all take care.